The other problem I have with my irrigation system is my irrigation time clock. Here it is. The problem is that I set it in the spring when I turn it on. I turn it on to run. I set it usually for the driest part of the year, which is July. But I've turned it on in maybe May, when the need for water is probably 70% of what it is in July. So I'm wasting 30% of my water from May through June, getting the right amount in July, and then wasting it again in August and September and part of October when the amount of water needed drops down. And really, it's as simple as coming to the clock, changing the program from A to B to a different program, or even on this clock, changing the water budget from 100% down to 80 or 70 or 60% about once a month. But you know what? I don't have time. I forget. I don't do maintenance well. And so actually, I'm going to look at getting a different clock, a more modern clock, a smart clock that makes those adjustments for me. They call them smart irrigation time clocks. When I installed my irrigation controller, I picked one that had smart irrigation functions. This system has two parts to it. The main part is a controller that's just like any other, and the second part is this small module which is connected to the weather station on the roof. Between the two of them, they adjust the water so that it waters a lot less in the spring and the fall, and the maximum amount in July when the garden needs it. This is a micro weather station that's a part of the system. It measures evapotranspiration, which is the amount of water that evaporates from plants and from the soil, and it's the amount of water that the irrigation system needs to make up. There's three parts to this little weather station. The first part is a measure of solar radiation, so it's important that this be in a sunny location in the yard. The second and third parts measure rainfall, so it's important that this is in a spot where it's not under an eave, where it can collect rainfall that's average for the yard. One of the rainfall parts actually measures the amount of rain that lands and has an adjustment to determine how long your landscape should dry out between rains. And the second is a rain click, so if it starts to rain, it'll shut off the irrigation system right away, so you're not watering during rainfall. There's lots of smart controllers in the market, more every day. It's sort of the way of the future, and every major irrigation manufacturer has a model. Some of the least expensive are less than $200 for the add-on sensor. And those systems are suitable for simple, small, single-family applications. There's other models that are in the $400 range or more, and they can have quite sophisticated on-site weather stations, or might download data from satellites or from local radio weather stations. The more expensive models are more accurate. They'll save a little bit more water. They'll adjust your time clock more accurately. And so they're valid for medium to larger size systems. But you know, all of these systems will save between 20% and 30% of the amount of water that I would use in an irrigation system in a typical season as compared to if the time clock's not adjusted. So their application actually is quite significant in saving water. They're one of the least expensive and simplest things we can do for outdoor water conservation.